Fantastic. Welcome to Cookbook Camp. Today is just a Q&A, which means you can bring your questions and I'll answer them. My name is Christina. I've been with the company for over 5 years. Helped lots of families make cookbooks, have lots of tips and tricks for you, as well as little I can share some insights on things that I've seen. Normally we go a full hour and normally we go a little bit over an hour. I am based in New Orleans and we on the way. So we are actually going to stop at the 45 today because I have to go pick up my little one and she's going to head out of town so that we don't have to deal with the no power. We'll get started. The easiest thing to do is use the reaction down at the bottom and raise hand. I'll call. You can ask your question and we will go around that way. All right, let's get started. Here's our first question today. Mary, are you trying to ask a question? Mary Flint?
No, I was just trying to set up my screen. I wasn't trying to ask a question. I'm sorry. I apologize.
No worries. I saw you moving around.
Yeah.
Trying to find it. So what kind of cookbook are you working on? A family cookbook, like a personal organization?
I'm actually working on a family cookbook. Yeah.
Fantastic. Where are you in the process?
I'm getting close to sending it to you guys for editing. So hopefully within the next week, I'll do that. So
fantastic. So you have your recipes in, you've kind of organized the way you want it organized.
Yeah, it's pretty organized. I still want to take the rest of this week to kind of go over everything one more time. We have a very large family, so we're
are you working with contributors, like contributing recipes, or are they all just your recipes?
They're all, yes, we're working with contributors, and I have 5 sisters, 4 sister-in-laws, daughter-in-laws. So yeah, it's been fun to kind of getting everybody involved.
Yeah, it's fun to get to reminisce on all those different memories and bring them back to life. But I know that also the coordinating with all the sisters and sister-in-laws, it gets to be quite the task.
Husbands, brothers, everybody's involved. So yeah, it's been nice.
It'll be a wonderful, wonderful project. Okay, Diane, I'll have to check my email in just 1 second and I'll grab those. I see Allison has her hand raised. Allison? You can just hit unmute at the bottom left corner. There you are.
Hi there. So I apologize. I'm kind of a newbie to this. I've been thinking about it for a year, but I just actually scanned in some recipes for You Type It last night, the first one. So I finally started. And I wondered, I have a couple that have like big stories behind them.
Okay.
And is there a place that I put those in? Like, do I just put it in where it says notes, or is there some other feature?
If it's a really large story, let me show you what I like to do. For those really large stories, I like to use story pages rather than the notes. The notes is good for like a quick story, like, maybe like a tidbit or a joke or something along those lines. But for the longer stories, what I like to do is maybe put them in. Grab a page. Here's one. Put them in beside the recipe, like have it come in, go right after the recipe, select the story page. Oops, not table.
Okay.
Story page. And then I like to just pop my text. If you have a really, really, really long story, you may want to break it in half. And there's the full page, and then there's, the story continued, where you could continue adding to that story if you needed.
Okay, and so do you do that? Like I don't I'm just putting my recipes in now. I don't actually have them in a book yet. So you wait until you've got everything in the book and then you go and add pictures and stories and all that stuff.
There's not a right or a wrong way to do it, but I have a preferred way. What I like to do personally is I like to start with filling my recipe box. And the reason for that is then I can just select all of my recipes, hit batch action, and assign them to a category. Assign them to the book, and it will autofill the book. It will lay out the section divider, and then it will put all of those recipes based off its category in there. And then from there, the next step that I like to do is before I go adding any more content, any photos, any stories, I like to go to arrange pages and make sure that my my sections are in the order that I really want them. I like to go like appetizers on actually, like, here's an example. I like breakfast before entrees. So you just pull it up, you hit auto arrange pages, and we have one that doesn't have. Yeah, that should work. Hit auto arrange. No. We have one. I'm always in here. Let me see what section I have it. Entrees. Okay. Perfect. Okay. You have to have all your categories in the right for that to work. Okay. So I moved this section to where I want, hit auto arrange. And what it's going to do is it's going to pull all those recipes that belong in that section up to that section divider. So it's just a fast way to get the book kind of outlined, laid out. And then I like to go through and add photos and stories and kind of put in those little extra bits and bobs, if you will, that just really take up a notch.
Okay,
Yeah.
and will it automatically, like, let's assume, so for each recipe will be on the right, and then there's a sort of a blank page for something on the left. Will it do that, or do you have to force that?
You would have to force that if you want to do that. And most people don't do that. What most people do is they have, like, for example, there would be a recipe on the left and a recipe on the right.
Okay,
You want to go in and add a page, you could do that. But most cookbooks just have them. I have one here.
left and right.
Yeah. And you'll see
Okay.
it. See, I have two recipes here. And this
Right,
one.
okay.
Fantastic.
Thank you very much.
Of course, happy to help. All right, any other questions? I can go grab Ms. Gail Gate.
Hey, Anderson Miller. Hi, thank you so much. I appreciate this. On basic questions, I'm just starting out. I wanted to know, in your experience, what is the average amount of recipes per book and average amount of pages per book?
Yeah. So most recipe books, all recipe books cookbooks come in different shapes and sizes. We see them as small as one recipe, and then they'll fill it with blank pages for someone to write in, or even just blank pages. But the average, if we took just the average of all family cookbooks, the average is 30 recipes for a family cookbook.
Okay. If in the feed, I just wonder, does they type it an additional fee, or does that come with premium, or?
Yeah, so we type it as an additional fee. Right now, there is a 50% off promo code, which I will grab you guys in just 1 second. I can't remember it off the top of my head. It is, let me pull up the exact price so I don't lie to you. It works out to be about $1 a recipe typed. But again, with the half off that we have going on, it's like 50 cents. So there's 3 packages. There's the 5, which is $3.40, yeah, $3.95. There's the 30, which is $19.95, and the 100, which is $59.95. And again, we have the promo code that's going through the end of Sunday.
Yeah, I saw that.
% off, correct. I like to go with the 30 or 100 just because they don't expire, and I will do several different projects, but totally up to you. You do have 2 free credits on your account. So if you want to give it a try, you can do that. If you have an iPhone, there is there's an app. The app makes it really, really easy, because what you can do is it opens your camera on your phone for you as you're going through and scanning the recipes. And so you can have your recipe box and just take the picture, submit, take the picture, submit. So if you have an iPhone, I strongly suggest using the app.
So the package, once the package fee is placed on the order, do you then get into the kinds of things you were sharing with us? Like, we get to see all the ways to arrange things?
Yeah, absolutely. You already have access to that in your designer. If you don't, you might your page. Oh goodness, there we go. If you don't have if you're not seeing, but I have a ton of books just because of different projects and playing around. You can hit create book, and from here you could start your family cookbook. You could title it, and then from in there, let's see if we can grab a new book. Here we go. Okay.
Saw that, yeah.
So you can work, like I said, I like to start from the recipe box. This will start empty, but you can add recipes. There's a few different ways you can add them. You can type them yourself in a form. If you have, cards, physical, physical recipes, you can use We Type It. If you have family and friends, like Mary was talking about, you can use the contributor link, which you could send to them, and it will send them a form which will go straight to your project. And then if you had like a Google Doc on your computer full of recipes, you can use this import my recipes and it'll pull them all out for you. And
If the recipe, if there's a graphic for each of the pages, can that be included in the We Type It, or?
so it won't lay out the photos for you. You'll need to go back and add those in. And the way to do that is come in, once you have your book laid out, you'll hit the edit icon, you'll switch to a layout that includes a photo, and then you'll upload that photo and to include it with there. What I really like, if you have a lot of recipe cards, it looks really pretty when you do recipe on top, and then you can include a photo of the handwritten recipe card. It looks really, really nice. Any more questions? Does that all make sense?
I do have a question. Felicia here.
Sure, go ahead.
Can you guys hear me? Am I unmuted?
No, you're good. We hear
Okay.
you.
I have about 86 recipes currently in my recipe box, and I've added them all to my book. But I am getting an error message now saying, please send your existing documents to your recipe box before uploading more. And I still have 105 We Type It credits.
Right.
So I'm just trying to figure out, do I need to delete them from my recipe box?
I'm gonna hand you
Because then I have to re-upload them again, and that's another fee, right?
it sounds like something weird is going on. Do me a favor, reach out. I'm gonna put this email in the chat, support at Create My Cookbook. Send them a screenshot of what you're seeing and they can go in and see what's going on and fix that.
Okay, I did that actually while we were talking and included my order number. Is there anything else that they might need to help with that?
If you have the screenshot of the error message you're seeing, that would be super helpful.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and do that then. Thank you so
and
much.
they should get back to you by the end of the day. They're fairly responsive.
Great, I appreciate it.
Of course. All right, Miss Rhonda. Oops, I think you're muted.
Hi, there you go.
Hi.
How are you again? I'm almost at the end of this, so I won't be bothering you anymore.
No, boy.
I have a couple questions.
Course.
Can you remove the logo, the Create My Recipe logo?
You can. When you go to view and order, all you have to do, go back to sharing my screen, is that preview and order. This is a very large book, so it's going to take a second to think. There's a check mark that you can put. I do suggest, oh, this is a smaller book. There's a 25% upcharge for removing the logo.
Okay.
Honestly, between you and I, there's only two places the logo appears.
Okay.
One is on the title page, which you can delete.
Okay.
And the other one is on the publisher's page.
Okay. So it's not out throughout the whole book.
Not all over the place. It's
Okay. Well, then I don't need to do that, and that's fine.
Not necessarily. There are some corporate customers and things that is very important, and that makes sense. But to me,
no. Okay. That's perfect. No, I thought it was all over the book, so that's perfect. I'm with you on that.
Yes,
so that's
yes,
good.
But it's such small
other,
branding. Yeah.
Yeah, no, fair enough. I don't have a problem with that. Can you do, when I was looking, I'm like I say, I have all my recipes pretty well done now. And can I do a collage page of prints? Like when I go in to add pictures or you put a photo page, you get one big one or two small ones?
Everybody keeps asking. I promise it's something we're working on. As of right now, there's not a collage page. What you can do, go to canva.com. It's free. There's a free version. I'm putting it in the chat now.
Okay.
Create a collage in there with all your images, export it as one image, as a PNG or a JPEG, and then
Okay.
just upload it as one image.
Okay.
That's
And
the
do it that
easiest
way.
thing to do. I think
Okay.
that is one day we're going to make that happen, and they're working on it.
All right. I just have two more questions and then I'm finished. I mentioned this before. So when I bought the package, you know how one of the recipe book that you were showing had that kind of green page and like a beige page. You know what I mean? Like a nice color pages. And the cover of that is a green cover. Can I change that cover? Because it's a bot, I had to pay for it. Does that package all come in one? Can I change the cover, the green cover, if I bought that package?
Oh, you're talking about the theme, the theme that you had?
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually did the same thing. So what I'll do is you can do the theme.
Yeah, so is that one the family favorites down there? Yeah, the green one.
I don't love this cover either. I mean, it's not bad. It's just not my favorite. But you can change the cover. Just pop in, hit the edit icon. And really a quick, easy way to make a cover that looks really nice is go to stock photos and search like baking, not backing. Come on, baking. There we go. And you can find really pretty images. If you see it and it says $1.50, it's a one-time fee of $1.50, not
Yeah,
$1 per book.
Yeah, and I don't mind that. That's perfect.
And it's just, if you have this like blank space with negative space, what you can do is kind of manipulate it just a little bit so that you have it with some of the utensils coming out, and you can have your title, and it looks really nice and makes for a clean book. Both this book and this one, these are just I'll turn it off so you guys can see. They're just stock images that I used.
Okay, that's a really good idea. Thank you. But that won't change the pages in the book though, will it?
It'll stay. No, they'll stay.
That'll be fine. And one more and then I'm done. I'm having a problem with one of my thing. There was one of the titles that I need to correct. And when I go in to try to correct it, it said that it didn't load properly and I can't go in. So can I just delete that page and go back and
delete the page. If it's giving you too much trouble, reach out to support too. If you have a screenshot, they can figure it out. But you could always just delete it and then add it back.
Perfect. Well, thanks, Christina. You've been so helpful. I'm very close to the end, so I'm excited.
Oh, good. I'm excited for you. Always so fun. And you guys, when you finish your book, we love when you guys send photos with the family. Like they just from our hearts.
I can't wait.
Done.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right, Marcia.
Marsha, I am about at her stage. I have typed in almost all of my recipes, and so I'm really happy. This is a family thing, and it's all me. And I'm the typist, and my name or my various children's names are on all the recipes. The one that I'm trying to use is Taste of Heaven. And the frustrating thing I'm finding is I don't have a section that's called side dishes. So it says an optional 8th divider. How do I
are you using design services, or are you using the designer itself?
I'm using the designer itself.
Okay, perfect. So here's what you're going to do. Are the recipes already in your book that you want it to have that section?
Well, I think so. I'm going to have a self cover.
Okay.
And so it's not the one cover that comes with this, but I do like this set of dividers.
So you can have as many dividers as you want.
Okay.
The recipes that you want, if you're in the recipe box, grab them, hit batch action, assign a category, and just type that. Type what you want.
Okay.
Side dishes and set category, and that'll update all of those categories. If you're adding a recipe, come in and just again add that. Once I added it once, it'll appear every single time.
Great, because obviously I went in and put them all in.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so fast to fix, so that's
Oh,
not a concern. I will give everybody a tidbit, because it's something that trips people up and it has tripped me up myself. Be very careful when you're naming your categories with the plurals. Some people like to go dessert or desserts, but I have done this before where I end up with two sections and I have a dessert section and a desserts within this. And when that happens, all I have to do is filter that, the category, and I'm gonna say, hey, where are those desserts? Without the S, and then I can, batch change them. But I've done it, many people have done it, just be aware. Awesome. All right. Any other questions I can answer for you today? Okay. Tamara.
Yeah. Hi, how are you?
How are you?
Good. I have a question really to process to see. I want to take my recipes and have friends and family test them. I mean, I created a lot of them and they certainly make sense to me, but before I put them to print, I want to go through a test and a Q&A type of thing with my family.
So here's what I would do.
Okay.
Generate your proofs. And when you do that, let's see. You can go to preview and order. You'll generate those proofs. I'm not going to do it right now because it does take 2 or 3 minutes, but I'll get you all the way to that point. They'll generate. You can download them. They will have a watermark. It's fine. Email them to your family and say, hey, will you try these recipes? And they could print them at home with the watermark and try the recipe, any feedback that they might have. Here's one's already popped up. So it'll look like this. And all you need to do is download that file and see it has the proof, but you can still read it. Just download it and email it to a friend. It's also a great tip if you're wanting someone to help you proofread. Download the proof, email it to them and say, hey, would you mind reading over this and sending back any feedback you might have? Oops, I'm sorry. I'm having a hard time hearing you.
Oh, because I hit mute. Do you hear me?
I can.
Okay. Is there a way within the system, like a Google form or something where it could have all in one place, the responses to the recipes, suggestions?
That's not something that we offer right now. You could put it, if you had a Google Doc, you could copy and paste them in there, and then you could have them send you comments. That's not something we can do, but I think that would work. Let me see. I can tell you real quick.
Okay.
Need to copy, and I'll just open a new document. Paste. Yeah. Let's see. You may have to play with it a little bit. You could copy like the pages that you wanted and put them in a Google Doc.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm struggling with that a little bit. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Makes sense. Any other questions, Allison? Diana, I'm gonna get to your questions in just 1 second. I'll have to go to my email, so I'll come to you. I'll give plenty of time. Allison?
I got the package that includes you having an edit,
everybody comes in.
a look-see before the end,
Oh.
or yeah, before I go to print.
Okay.
Hang on, everybody real quick. And
Wait.
then we have. All right, try to make sure we keep ourselves muted. All right, Allison, you'll have to unmute yourself.
Yeah. Okay. So at what stage do you want us to be at before we submit it for you to look at?
That's a good question. So you can wait all the way till the end, but if you're like feeling like I need somebody to look at this sooner, that's fine. You can go ahead and have, submit we review it. What would be but you can also wait till everything's done. That way they take a look at the full book and they're looking at they're not going to proofread, but they're looking to make sure that no content's falling off. You don't have DPI issues. The cover looks good, things like that. It takes typically less than a business day. So if you wanted to wait till the end, I think it's perfectly fine. Like when you're ready to order, just budget in 1 day for them, 1 business day. So if you send it on Saturday, it'll be Monday. Yeah, awesome. All right. Mary, did you have a question? Mary Flint, did you have another question? I see your hand raised. I don't know if it's just left over.
Nope, I'm good. I had a couple
Perfect.
quick questions for you. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Yeah. You know what? I haven't submitted anything like I haven't done any batch actions yet. And I'm kind of just waiting to make sure everything is done before I do that. The categories that people have submitted, I guess I should have probably given the categories before.
People get rather creative, don't
Yeah, they
they?
get really creative. So
I-
when I do my batch actions and I say this is going to be desserts,
Yeah.
it'll take care of all that. I don't have to go in
It
and
will.
hand do it. Okay,
Yeah,
because
you
I
do.
was a little nervous about that.
Yeah, I did that. I did that with my mother-in-law's cookbook, and I had my sister-in-law and whatnot submit, and it got really creative. And I was like, we're gonna go back to just like desserts.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. We have snacks, we have desserts, we have, cakes,
Yeah.
they're just everything.
Yeah.
All right. And my other question is, once I add those in that, like when I do the batch action thing, once I add those in, am I able to edit some of their stuff? Or I haven't been able to edit anything they've put in yet, but I'm hoping that when I get into I see just a few little typos I want to fix.
yeah, you should be able to edit those. Yes.
Okay. And my last question, and I'm sorry to take your time. I've kind of like a few others, Marcia, Rhonda, they were talking about they're getting close to the end. A lot of people now, my intention was to purchase a cookbook for everyone in the family, but now I'm
Right.
getting, I need three. Did a lot of people publish those? And is that a big deal to do that? Or because my thought is maybe I just publish it and say, if you want additional, go on and order them.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people do. When you have your book finished, what you can, there's two things. If you're trying to sell it for like a profit, which some people do, you can do what we call the seller services.
Uh-huh.
If you're like, I just want them to be able to purchase it at cost, you can just, what you can do, let me grab this one. Down underneath on your page, you can say, you want to share this cookbook, click here, so you can grab it.
Mhm.
It'll pull up an email. You could also just copy that link right there,
Okay.
and you can send it to people, and they can purchase their own copy.
Okay.
of the
I don't want to
book.
make a profit off or anything, but I do,
And
I don't
just
want to be buying 10 for one family,
Just send them that link then, and you grab it
Mhm.
here. You can hit share. There's another for Facebook. But if you click here, it'll open your email and you can grab that link. That's the easiest thing to do.
Okay. So I don't have to go through the whole process of publishing or anything to do that.
Well, you do need to have the book published and approved. I would personally place an order, a copy for
Right.
one copy to look at it, just in case you had anything like, oh, I wanted to edit that before you send it to the whole family.
Right. No, I
But
would,
that's
I would,
optional.
I would buy them first for everybody and then open it up if they want more. So I really appreciate your help. Thank you so much.
Of course, happy to help. All right, Diane had some questions she emailed in. I'm gonna grab those. We've got about 15 minutes, and like I said, I'm gonna leave a little bit earlier today, so that we can get out of the city that is below sea level. On the text on the cover, already bold. If not, can I make it bold? Yes, on the cover, you can make it bold. You just need to hit the edit icon on the front, grab that section. Grab that. Here, I'm not sharing my screen. Here we go. Grab that. And then here, actually on this one is not, it is already set to bold. The subtitle is, you're right. That is, if you didn't want it bold, set it as the subtitle and just make it larger. The title itself is automatically bold, Diane. So hopefully that answers your question there. I'm gonna grab the next one. My background color is red on the cover. What I like to do on the cover is I like to make my spine cut. If I'm doing a background color, I like to make the spine color the same as the front cover. And I like to make the fonts the same. That way it gives that illusion of it wrapping all. This has got a blue background. It's got the same color blue spine and the same color blue background. If you go with the same color, it just kind of gives that nice wrap look. When you have, this is an example of one where I did the spine cover different, and it's fine because I have an image, then I have a different color spine, and then I have another image. So doing the background color, my suggestion is to keep it the same. But again, there's a lot of different ways to do it, but that would be my suggestion. Let's see, category page with, I have a category page with black text and some white text. Black text. Yes, if you have a page that you're wanting to adjust, just that one page, you change it to this page only. And that was an override. So let me take, that's a good question. Let me take a second and explain what's going on. In your book, when you're editing things, you'll see there are two options. Let me hit edit. There is this page, all pages default. You should be working in that 99% of the time. The reason for that is it just makes it easy. It makes it consistent. If I update the font here, it updates across the entire book. If I change the font here, it updates on all recipe pages. However, in a situation where I'm trying to say, I've got a recipe that's really long and I want to fit it on this page, I don't want it to go across 2 pages. It's just a little smidgy too long. Let me see if I can grab an example. My goodness, Zoom, you're making this very difficult on me. All right, guys. All right, this would be an example. If I were like, oh man, I really want this to just be on one page. I could, the one thing I could do would be, this is where we were just playing around in one of the camps, make those a little bit closer together. But let's just say I still were a smidge over and I wanted only on this page, just this page, nothing else in the book. I want to change the directions. I want to change that font a smidge smaller just so it fits. I could make the override for this page only and change the font size for that page. So that's how that works. And you should really be using that function sparingly. What can happen if you put everything on this page only? Then if you make an update, you've got to go through the whole book and make it on every page, and that's not fun. Okay, next question. How do I add a photo to a continuation page on a recipe? Let me show you how to do that. So here's a continuation page. What you need to do is go to that continuation page there, hit the edit icon, go to layout. Down here where you see recipe continuation pages, select one of the recipes that has a photo with it. And then you'll have a photo tab. You could select your photo and hit save, and it'll appear on that page. Okay, and then we have one last question. Grab it. We'll come back. 2 questions. How do you change fractions from full size to fraction size? Right. So with the fractions, be very careful. Not all fonts support all fractions. So you can go online and you can Google fractions, like 1/3, 1, you can copy and paste them. However, you need to make sure if you do that and you want them to look that way, that the font that you're selecting supports those fractions. So what that means is when you generate proofs, you need to go and look in your book and make sure that it's showing up. What can happen is it'll leave like this little square because the font is like, I don't know what that is. So the easiest thing to do is just make them all the big fractions, 1/8, 1/4. But if it's really important to you and you want that, you can copy it, go online, copy and paste them. But you really are limited in your font selection if you do that. One that I know supports everything is the classic Times New Roman. Another one is Montserrat. They support most of them. If you email support, if that's something that's important to you, you can email support@Create My Cookbook. I'm putting it in the chat. And they will tell you, they will send you a list of fonts that support all fractions. But I have found the easiest thing to do is just avoid it and go with the big fractions. Her last question was best practices as far as abbreviations. Okay. I have a controversial opinion on this. I'm gonna give you the my controversial opinion, and then I am going to tell you what most people do. My controversial opinion is I think they should be written as the person who wrote the recipe. I think it provides context. Like my great grandmother had ways that she wrote things that were different from my mother. And I think that it's a fun way to celebrate them and their recipe and their contribution in the kitchen. So personally, my book is all over the place. They are, however the person wrote it is how it appears in my book. I think it just, language is a beautiful thing. And I think how we write it, there's some messaging to it. However, if it's important and you're like, hey, I really want it to be standardized, totally respect that as well. I think there's two trains that people kind of get on. Some people like everything spelled out, and that means tablespoons, teaspoons, cups. If not, typically tablespoons is TBS and teaspoons is TSP. And they'll just go through and to do that, you know, consistently. I don't think it's a right or wrong. It's a matter of picking which one that you consistently want and going through your book that way. Some people for cups like to just do C. Some people like to spell it out. There again, there's not a right or wrong. It's a matter of preference. But what we see the most is TBSP and TSP for teaspoons. Hope that answers that question. All right, guys, I have about 10 minutes and I'm going to have to skedoodle. Let's see. Does anybody else have questions? Diane.
Okay, could you just go back? Thank you for answering most of these. What I was really asking on the cookbook cover is my background is red, and then I have the title and the subtitle and the spine. And do I put the background for that as red or as transparent? So Monica answered my question email yesterday. She said you can do either one. I just want to make sure I don't have like double red or that it.
Don't say your email on here. Is your email the same one you emailed me from?
Yes, it's the first question that you answered.
Okay,
right. Second question.
Is it okay if I log into your account really quickly?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so here's your book.
Yep.
And your question is,
okay, so that text, is the background color supposed to be red or transparent?
it does not matter. I think either one, because they're the same color, it's not going to change the appearance.
So it's not going to like print double red.
No, not at all.
Okay, and then my first question was, are both of those bold, the title and the subtitle bold? How can I tell?
This is bold, this is not.
How do I make that second one bold?
We can't make that one bold. What we could do. You kind of fake it. Let's see if it'll make it work.
So you make it all one title and no subtitle?
That would be the way. Most of the time with the subtitle, you don't want it bold because it's supposed to be kind of the subtitle. So it's kind of
yeah, but it's kind of like the whole title. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're just futzing with the spacing?
That's what I was just doing to see if we could kind of yeah, that would be what I would do. The other option, if you wanted to get a little more advanced, you could open up a Canva and make it like manually create the cover and then upload it at the whole thing as an image for the whole.
Yeah.
Okay,
I would rather just deal with it with the script if I can. So if I want it all bold, I have to just make it all the title and then just put spaces in.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it really doesn't matter if I have red in the background or a transparent, it's going to be the same.
Be the same, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I say it's transparent just because it's not necessary to have it red.
Okay, then I'm going to do a transparent as long as that's going to work.
I just hit save for you, so you're good.
Okay,
It's-
thank you very much.
Happy to help. All right, guys, I've got about 4 minutes left. Any last minute questions? Everyone's good? Fantastic. Carol mentioned earlier, I think this was a question earlier, when how can you work it, Tamara? Yeah. There, Google has an option to share documents to make comments. I think you would save it in your Google Drive and then share that, and then you could make comments. Let me see. That's a really good idea.
This is Marcia. Do you have time for one quick question?
Sure.
I keep not getting called on. I'm trying to do something wrong. Okay, when we make our list, when I make my list of ingredients, occasionally I look at this long list and I see that I should have put something at the top, but it's numbered. So how do I change the order without retyping the whole list, or can I?
This is for ingredients or for directions?
Yes, only ingredients. So I make number 1, number 2, number 3, and then way down at 10, I think, oh, that should have been number 1.
What I would do in that situation would be, I would just come in and on that page, let me go back to my.
Okay.
Okay. What I would do is when I get to that page, I would say, second.
Okay.
All right. So what I would do, I would hit the edit icon beside the page,
Yes.
hit key tab, and then if I wanted to move buffalo sauce up, I would just hit like, cut it like,
Cut and paste. Okay.
and then I would just paste it up. If you make a change in the book, it makes a change in the recipe box. If you make a change in the recipe box, it makes a change in the book.
Okay.
They live in unison. If that makes sense. But that's what I would do. Okay. And someone mentioned Miss Miller had a question and she has it. Go ahead. Go ahead. I see you. You have to unmute yourself. Bottom left corner, there's a little audio. It looks like a microphone.
Okay. Can you guys tell me about how long this has taken you to get where you are now, and what would be an estimated timeline for when your book would be done?
So if anybody wants to write in the chat how long they've been working on it, I can say from experience, we have people who work on this for a matter of a week or two, all the way to like a year. I think the average is about the average for the entire everyone is 30 to 60 days. But if everybody wants to write in the chat how long they've been working on it, again, there's no right or wrong. That might be helpful.
Thank you.
Of course. All right. Any other questions? I've got just like 1 minute and I'm going to pop off. We're all good. Awesome. Well, thanks so much for being here with me. Typically there would be a replay that would go out 9 months, Dana said. Typically there would be a replay email that would go out this afternoon. Since I will be traveling, it will go out tomorrow. So tomorrow morning, look in your inbox for an email from me that will have the replay of this camp. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out at Create My Cookbook or support at Create My Cookbook. Support at createmycookbook.com. Either Carly or Monica will answer your question. They're both delightful. They're very responsive, and you will find nothing but tons of helps and ideas from them. So feel free to reach out. Carol, as far as cookbook camps, are typically every 2 weeks. There'll be a week in the email that I send. I'll go ahead and add the registration for the next one. Kathy said she has 1,000 recipes and working for 6 months. Okay, Kathy, are you printing that book? I just want you to keep in mind that you have the 1,000 recipes. The largest book that we have is the Softcover Perfect Bound. It will do 312 pages, which would get you roughly 600 recipes. My suggestion to you would be to do volumes, savory and sweet. Just so I don't want you to get to the end and be like, oh my gosh, I've got too many pages. Yeah, it's quite the collection. All right, guys, I am going to pop off. Oh, Kathy, are you talking? You hit unmute. I don't know. Okay, I'm going to pop off. Thank you all. Thank you for being patient. and letting-
Christine, be safe.
I will. Thank you. All right. See you guys tomorrow. Thank you. Bye.